Hello, and welcome to NGB Business News, the greatest business commentary news channel on YouTube. And I got an interesting one for you guys today. You guys already know 2022, 2023, it's been real difficult. The price of eggs, gas, groceries is just out of this world. You know what I'm saying? You go to the grocery store, you get you a few steaks, you get you a few things. Normally it would be 30 bucks. Now it's 150, and you leaving the grocery store feeling like you got robbed. You checking your pockets, you like, I know somebody must have robbed me, and everything like that. And things are getting kind of crazy. Well, now we're coming up upon spring break. All the college kiddies and the high school, middle schoolers are all getting out, and the dynamic is changing a little bit because things are way more expensive. A lot of families that would have thought, okay, now is a good time to take my family to Disneyland, Disney World, whatever you want to call it, and everything like that. Now they're like, hey, maybe we should kind of buckle down and save up our money. We don't know if this is going to get worse, if this recession is going to get better, and everything like that. So I'm seeing an article here speaking on how people's spending habits are kind of changing a little bit, because of the spring break or kind of the way that they make their travel plans and everything like that. And I thought that could be real interesting for us to take a look at and see kind of how this recession that we've been seeing coming after C-19 is actually affecting the way that people shop, the way that people move, and the way that people vacation. So guys, like, comment, subscribe. Obviously you guys have been showing me a lot of love and I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? We brothers, y'all my brothers and sisters. But I'm not gonna hold you guys up, so let's go ahead and get into the article. All right, so it says spring break gets pricey as travelers return to old booking habits. Old booking habits, like when I think about that, I think about people like pulling out the MapQuest. You guys remember back in the day, for my older guys, you know what I'm saying? I remember when my parents used to take me to my soccer games and stuff like that. You used to have to print it off, and somebody's reading off the paper while the other person's trying to drive. I can't do that. Everybody who knows me knows I hate driving, and I always use the map. I'd be 20 minutes away, I'm using, Apple Maps. Now, it says spring break travel demand is picking up, driving up airfare and hotel rates. Okay, so it's saying the demand is actually picking up. It shouldn't during a recession, but we know how people are. They not these girls ain't missing their Miami trip. If they want to go to Miami, they going to Miami. Now it says travel app Hopper said in a report last week that domestic airfare is averaging 264 a round trip for March and April, up 20% from a year ago and 5% above pre-pandemic levels. So obviously demand is high. When demand is high, price has to go up to meet that demand and everything like that. So that makes sense. And guys, like I said before, it doesn't really make sense for us to be spending more money while we're in a recession, even if you are doing well. I don't think $264 is a lot, but imagine you're a family of four. And all four people, that's $1,000, just on the plane tickets alone. Let's say you go spend a few more thousand on going to Disney World, Universal Studios, all of that. You got to eat good. You got to pay for lodging and everything like that. It could become quite a pricey trip, Now it says airlines grappling with pilot shortages. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know there was a shortage of pilots. Hey guys, you might want to end up being a pilot. I'm pretty sure being a pilot probably pays pretty well. And aircraft delivery delays have already limited capacity growth, which is keeping airfare up from last year. Now it says, this is the interesting part. Now it says travelers are going back to booking patterns common before the pandemic, flying on peak days to traditional destinations, airline executives say. Okay, so they're essentially flying on days that it makes more sense, and maybe instead of, going to Morocco, you might be going to Orlando, you know what I'm saying? Or you might be going to New York instead of hitting the Bahamas, which is smart, it makes sense that it will work this way. Now it says That makes it even more important for travelers to stay flexible if they're trying to save money and avoid spikes in fares. Like, we're all about saving money here. And I'm going to have to recommend too, guys, if you know that you want to take a trip somewhere and everything like that, definitely buy your tickets way out in advance. I know a bunch of people, they already know, hey, I'm going to this, let's say they're going to Jamaica. I'm going to Jamaica next year at this term, and they wait till a month before they're about to go to Jamaica to get your tickets. Come on now, you're just wasting money. You're throwing it, you're burning it, like that one SpongeBob episode where they're just throwing money or whatever straight into the furnace at that point. Now, it says it's good news for airlines that are trying to make up for higher costs. Spring break demand is probably the best we've seen, Frontline Airline CEO Barry Biffle said in an interview. That's actually a pretty cool name, Barry Biffle. It's got a nice ring to it. And I guess to a degree, this does make sense. We're a little bit out of the pandemic, but I think the further that we get from the pandemic, people still kind of remember what it was like to be inside and not outside. We outside. We outside. But you know what I'm saying? People still remember kind of what it was like, during C-19. And so if they have the opportunity, get out the house, be around a bunch of people, hit the beach, you know what I'm saying? Then people want to capitalize on that. And as you guys know, it's the rise of social media. People want to take pictures. People are very whatever the opposite of frugal is now. Even if they don't have money, they want to go out, they want to have a good time, and people are spending more and more money each year, even though the economy is terrible. So this doesn't surprise me at all, and it shouldn't surprise you guys at all either. Now it says constrained capacity is real. When you couple that in with higher costs, most notably fuel, people are willing to pay the higher fares, and the airlines are going to need to charge it. Yeah. If there's higher demand, you really can't blame these airline companies for charging a higher price. You just can't. Now it says Matt Klein, Spirit Airlines. Oh, we all gotta love Spirit Airlines. You pull up and you sit down. You got somebody's trying to sell you drugs in the seat across from you. You got a crying baby kicking your seat, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. And you might not even have the back on your seat, you know what I'm saying? You sit down and then you lean back and you almost break your back because they just didn't even install, you know what I'm saying, a back to the seat. I'm sorry. I'm always roasting Spirit Airlines. I'm not stopping either. I'm not stopping. But it's good though. I would fly Spirit. It's a good way to just save money, and it's all about getting to the destination, isn't it? Like, who cares about the hour or two experience that you have? You know what I'm saying? Save that money. Save that money. Now, he says told CNBC that there was a travel lull following the new year when schools reopened after a longer than usual holiday break, but demand has perked up for trips during the spring, even beyond peak holiday weeks. Now, he says the busiest of days of the week are returning to your Fridays and Sundays. As you know, people want to you'll possibly go out on a Friday, or you'll come back. Let's say it's a work trip. You may come back on a Friday, spend the weekend with your family, or, you're on a trip. You'll definitely come back Sunday because you got to go to work on Monday at 9. You feel me? So it makes sense why these are the peak days and stuff. It's not as common, obviously, for somebody to fly in and or fly out on something like a Tuesday or a Thursday. It's a little weird, Now, the business, he said the best deals and best offers should be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays would be my expectation. So, guys, we already know if you're planning these trips and stuff, look at Tuesday and Wednesday's ticket prices. You might be able to get a nice little discount, It says, but midweek during popular vacation periods, like when schools are off, could keep demand high all week. People move around for the best opportunity. And it makes sense. Your kids are out of school. They're going to be in school all year. You're going to have to work. Clearly, if you guys want to have a vacation planned, you're going to have to take off at the same time that your kids are out of school. And everyone is thinking the same thing you're thinking. We're like, hey, we got, 2 to 3 weeks, where everybody is going to be kind of on vacation. I'm taking off these days so I can spend some nice time in Orlando at Disneyland playing with Mickey, with my kids. Everybody's thinking the same thing that you're thinking. Everybody's trying to buy tickets. And as a result, the price increases. Like they said, there was a 20% increase. Now, he said the demand for Florida is particularly strong and that Spirit has boosted capacity to certain cities such as Orlando, where it's ramped up service to hit a near record 96 daily departures on peak days. That's insane. Imagine a airline going 96 daily. That's a lot, guys. That is a lot. And even me too. I feel like I have a strange way of thinking about it because I live near Atlanta, so obviously I fly out of Hartsfield Jackson, which I believe is the largest or the busiest airport in the United States. So I've always kind of had like a thing where like an airport in other countries or other cities doesn't seem that big to me, even though it may be a large airport, just because I'm so accustomed to that being the first airport, and where I'm, used to, associating with. But even still, even Hartsfield Jackson having so many Atlanta flights or Orlando flights still seems kind of like crazy to me. Now, it says there are deals available, but what customers might not want to hear is that they'll have to be flexible, said Haley Berg, Hopper's lead economist. She recommended looking at alternative destinations to some of the more popular places and book outside of a more traditional depart on Friday or on Thursday or Friday and return on a Sunday plan. So basically, you're going to have to look at the days where people aren't really trying to fly like that. They're not really trying to head out. That's one way to save money. And another is maybe not hit Disney World. Maybe not hit these real target locations because you may be able to find some real, good prices at some places that people don't really think about vacationing, but could be a good spot. I remember my dad used to, for work, he used to go to Baltimore once every year, and he would take our family. And Baltimore is honestly, don't get me wrong, the hoods of Baltimore. But Baltimore was actually one of my favorite trips when I went as a kid. I used to love the Baltimore Pier. I used to love eating at this one sports place and eating their wings and everything. And I have really good recollections of Baltimore. I had been taken to Orlando. I had been taken to New York when I was little. I've been taken to a lot of these places. But a lot of the memories that I have aren't even from, these places that would be huge tourist places. So I wouldn't want you guys to look down on some of these places because they do have a lot of potential. For instance, I believe we went to Houston or Dallas. I'm not sure which one. I was smaller, obviously. But I remember the river walk kind of going through and everything like that. And that was one of the greatest experiences that I had in my life. And this is coming from somebody who's been to New York, have been to Disneyland. So I just don't want you guys to discount those because not only can you save money, but you can have just as good as experiences in a lot of those places, and sometimes you can even have better experiences. You don't have to deal with the long lines, the crowds, people upcharging you just so much, and you can really just focus on relaxing. And, that's what vacation's about. All right, so now it says, for example, a Spirit flight from Detroit to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Oh gosh, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Shout out to my guys at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All right, it's selling for $411 before fees, such as a seat selection or cabin baggage from April 7th to 16th, while a shorter April 8 to 15 trip was $233. So think, guys, this is literally just one day later, and you're almost saving 2 times the amount of money. So, guys, we can't just be out here wasting money like that. If you want to get rich, I want to get rich. You got to be worried about every penny and spend it very smartly. All of that can go to investing. All of that can go into your Roth IRA, which everyone should have. And, things like that is a good example. Here's another one. A flight from New York to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic is going for pretty much $1,700 on the standard economy on JetBlue. From April 10th to 14th, and the same trip leaving and returning a day earlier, it goes down to $1,300, about $1,400. So you're saving $300 just by leaving literally a day later. Come on now. Well, come on now. Just do the math. Just makes more sense. Now, it says this is the first U.S. spring break season since the Biden administration scrapped a requirement that travelers show proof of a negative C-19 test before flying to the U.S., making it easier for people to travel abroad while capacity remains limited. So capacity is limited, but obviously demand is also a little bit higher because, everybody that didn't want to take the poke, and everything like that, they can just go and live their lives now. They don't have to worry about all that, all the testing and everything like that. You can just go, which clearly percentage wise is going to make a lot more people way more inclined, to travel. Now, it says round trip flights from Mexico and Central America are up 60% from last year and 30% from 2019 at $536 in March and April. Fares from the U.S. to the Caribbean islands, shout out Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean, guys. Come on now. Yeah. Averaging $433, up 38% from last year and 9% from 2019, where average trips to Europe are averaging about $700, up 45% from 2022, and 16% higher than about 4 years ago. So we're just seeing that the prices are definitely hitting a lot higher. It's not like a wedding. You've got some flexibility on where to go. Scott Keys, founder of Scott's Cheap Flights, a flight deal site that the company recently renamed Going. I actually like that name. That's a good name for flights. If cheap flights are a priority, see where there are cheap flights and then decide on your destination. And I think there's a lot for us to look at here. I think there's a lot for us to learn here. I know with vacations, a lot of people, they're kind of like, hey, well, it's vacation, so I'll spend a little bit extra, or, what I'm saying, normally I wouldn't buy this, but hey, guys, we're on vacation. But, it's good to stay grounded. It's good to still have a sound and mellow mind when you're making these decisions. And hey, if it can save you a few $100s, why not do it? Like I said before, a family of 4, if you're saving $300-$400 per ticket round trip, you have a family of 4 or 5, you saving, $1,000, $1,500 simply off of going a day later. So that's something you should definitely recommend. And I think this is a good time for people to recognize too that there's a lot of places that you may not consider going, but that you could really have some great experiences in. And how I talked about like going to Baltimore and cabin trips that we used to go to, and things like that aren't really necessarily huge tourist locations, but it's great. You take the family out. You get a cabin, you're just secluded for 5 days, chilling, relaxing, maybe get you some drinks, chill out by the hot tub, maybe cold, and you're just looking over the mountain view. That could be very beautiful as opposed to going, to somewhere like Orlando where it's crowded and everything like that. So that may be something people prefer. And I think if you're trying to save money, especially, that's something you could look for. And hey, over here, we always trying to save money. So I just had to let you guys know what's good. And, this is still an indicator in kind of like the way that the economy is going in right now. So I hope you guys all have a great day. Let me know what you guys got going on for vacation and stuff like that, coming up soon. Or if you're hitting something in the summer, if you got something planned, I'm interested to see where you're going. And also, you don't have to expel that information, but if you want to, we'd like to hear like how much your ticket prices were. And if you were able to possibly get a deal depending on what day you left, kind of stuff like that. So I appreciate all the love you guys show the channel and everything like that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Even if you just want to pop in and say, hey, what's up, man? I'm going to be like, hey, what's up, bruh? You feel me? So you guys all have a great day and be blessed.